Grüezi miteinander. I guess it's never too early to practice my Schweizerdeutsch in case I want to go to Eurovision next year. It is done. Switzerland has won the Eurovision Song Contest 2024. The way it's done, I'll talk about it later. A warning in case you haven't noticed, the length of this video is very long. I don't know how much because I haven't recorded it yet. I'm just starting now. But you can see it on YouTube or Rumble or wherever. I will try to do this by the order the songs were performed, and then in the end, comment about the ranking system. Yeah, I've got a lot to say. Hold on tight. Or if you're watching this video more than like an hour or two after it was uploaded, I hope by now there are chapters and you can skip to whatever it is that interests you in hearing me saying. And yeah, I guess that's it for the intro. So let's get to the slideshow that I made for myself, and to showcase the design one last time this year. Okay, so the order of the appearance. Sweden was first. They didn't change a thing from the semi-final, from the Melodifestivalen. Again, it worked. One of them was a bit worse than he was in the previous performances. I have no idea who Marcus is and who Martinus is, so one of them. But it still worked. It was a fun performance. Yeah, it didn't get a lot of votes from the audience. I mean, usually it would, but I guess this year it didn't stick out far enough. Yeah, okay. It wasn't bad in any way. I liked it, but apparently there were too many things sticking out. Other than that, this is Ukraine number 2. This is Jerry Heil with whatever that was supposed to be. Russian missile strike, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean any disrespect or whatever, but this is a strange choice of background. But the performance was great. Both of them, Aliona and Jerry, were great. I enjoyed it very much. As for the points, did they deserve to get the third highest points from the audience? I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing to be wrong about here because it is a good song. It was a very good performance. It wasn't the best of the evening, but it was one of the best. I'm glad they got a lot of points. And yeah, I guess we can move on. Germany. Yeah, that's a painful point. I love the song. I think Isaac has a great voice and he is great at showcasing them. The performance was a bit odd. For a song called Always on the Run, to be standing in a house that's on fire and waiting for some imaginary firefighter, which we'll hear about in a bit in the Jordan song, to just carry you out of there, it's stupid. I mean, too much. It was screaming, look at me, and not listen to the song, which is too bad. He didn't get a lot of points, I think. I mean, if he wasn't in the last 10, right? He was in the middle somewhere, but he could have been higher. Luxembourg, she didn't get very high, if I remember correctly. It was still a good performance, not her best. In her local performance, she did a better job. Still, it was a fun performance. Tali is a great singer, and she has a bright future ahead of her. And yeah, do I have anything else to say about this? Oh, yeah. The Israeli jury gave her 12 points, which she did not deserve, with all due respect, Tali. And it was all too political. I'll touch about this again in my comments about the voting. Let's go rumble about the songs first. Eden Golan from Israel was better than in the semi-final. Still not perfect. It was a good performance. I think it was like the 6th best of the evening, maybe, or 4th, something around there, like in the bottom top 5. Which is funnily where she ended up, but for another reason. I'll talk about it later. She still sounded a bit either tired or scared or something. I've heard her perform this better several times. Look Telki is the song. The singer is whatever his name is from Lithuania. He was pretty good vocally. Still hate the song. I think they changed something with the lighting in his performance. It was like this screen capture is from the very end, but all through the song until the very end, he was either lit in red or blue, like entirely. Everything was one color. And it was annoying to look at it. I didn't like the performance. I don't like the song, but yeah, how high did it get? I don't think it got very high, right? It was in under 20, I think. Spain also got very low, despite being an audience favorite. She barely got any points from the audience, actually, which makes me happy because she didn't deserve any. I mean, I still think the song could have sounded so much better with a better singer. And in my semi-finals summary, I was trying to remember a singer from Spain from the previous decade who would be much better at this, and I screwed up her name. Of course, it was Soraya Arnelas, and she presented the Spanish votes. She could have done this a lot better. Yeah, I mean, yeah, too bad it was this awful singer. Estonia, they were so much better in the final than in the semi-final. I don't know why they barely got any points. Like they got like, what was it? Like 7 points from the juries all over the world, and then like 31 or 33 from the audience. They deserved more. I mean, it's not a good song musically, but it's an interesting combination, and it's funny and it's witty, and the part in the end of the song where the soloist goes woo, 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 imitating a police siren. That's so funny. It could have gotten a lot higher. Ireland, Bambi Thug. She was sixth in the end. She didn't deserve even 26th. I don't even know how she qualified. It's the worst song of the year. Latvia, Dons. He was not as good as in the semi-final, but still, it's he doesn't move a lot in the performance, so it's not that hard, and it's not such a hard song. So there's not much there to struggle with vocally. So he did a decent job. I expected more of him because I heard how he was in the semi. Yeah, I think he also didn't get very far. Yeah, I mean, I didn't care that much because it was underwhelming. The UK. This was an amazing performance. Just like in the semi. Visually, it's stunning. One of the most creative, best, the way they executed it, like in turning the camera on its head while you're not watching it, so it looks like Now he's standing on the ceiling, and then he's standing on the floor, and the dancers are on the walls. And it was so... I loved every second of it. And I think the fact it got 0 points from the audience is a proof that people have been wrong to claim Eurovision has been taken over by the gays. Because this was the first, as far as I remember, honestly gay performance in Eurovision. It was flirting with the dancers, and it was honest. It was like we've had gay kisses on stage before on Eurovision, but they were all like cynical acts. This felt true, honest, and not getting any points shows you there are not many gays watching this and voting. Not at all. Or they are all in Malmö in the theater. So no one left to vote for this. Like I said, UK always gets 0 points. And I know it's not always blah, blah, blah. Okay? Leave me alone. If not for the jury, they would have been last. Again. Too bad. I mean, I like the song. And I like him. Next. Oh, this was a pause while some TV stations went to commercial breaks. This is Sarah Dawn Finer. Again, dressed up as Lynda Woodruff, the stupid EBU, the spokesperson for the EBU, who doesn't know how to say Azerbaijan. And she was not as funny as she was in the past. I thought the writing was not as sharp as it used to be. Not as many jokes. She didn't screw up enough words. And the musical number, I mean, the whole thing about Sarah Dawn Finer is a great singer. I love her song from Melodifestivalen. I like, what was it, 2008, Moving On. She's a great singer and a great actress. But singing as Lynda Woodruff, the character, doesn't make any sense because Lynda Woodruff is supposed to be this annoying woman who doesn't know a thing about music, who screams and has no musical bone in her body. Hearing her sing, it's just not the character. It's Sarah. But I enjoyed it anyway. I mean, I love Sarah Dawn Finer. Let me watch her do that every day. Next. This was Norway. Unfortunately, last in the points. I have no idea why. She was significantly better than the semi. Still far from perfect, I know. But the first half of her performance was almost perfect. The second half, she got tired. You could hear it. Still, the most interesting song of the year musically. A very unique style. This is what Eurovision is all about. Bringing unique styles that represent something. She represents both her country and herself and her band, which has been around for a long while. I don't know why this came in so low. It was so good. So good. Italy. Yes, I know Italians hate me, and you're going to hate me again. Because after the perfect performance she gave in the semi-final in the second one, in the final she looked at home, but she sounded tired. Her breath was short. She sounded like she was... Don't get me wrong, it was an amazing performance of this horrible song. But she sounded like she was struggling to go through it. You know, in the second semi, she sounded like she could go on for an hour. Like she came in to perform and she was just starting. And yeah, if it was a solo performance, an hour and a half, she could go like sing another 20 songs on her own and do the evening without the other contestants. In the final, She sounded like she was waiting for the moment she finishes and gets off the stage. She sounded tired. She sounded... I mean, she sounded like she'd had enough. Too bad. I am glad that she came pretty high, I think. She was in the top 10, right? She totally deserved it. Ramonda Teodora from Serbia. Her performance in the final was not as good as in the semi-final, unfortunately. So, despite being my favorite song of the year, in the end of last night, I only ranked her second because it was a bit underwhelming. As much as I love her and the song, it was a disappointment because I could listen to this song every day and several times a day, never get tired of it, of her voice. She has such an amazing voice, and yeah. But even considering her performance, the number of points she got was a disgrace on Eurovision. A disgrace. Let's move on. Finland. Yeah, I think I said it before. This is not a real song. It's a joke. They were both, especially the blonde guy, was very good. Not as good in the semi-final, but still better than he was in the Finnish song selection contest. It was still funny as hell. It was still, it was a pause from the real music. And then we have Portugal. Oh, no, I have another picture of him. It was so funny. Yeah, now Portugal. This song has climbed from being like my fourth favorite of the year or something like that to yesterday. She had the best performance, both vocal-wise and the visual aspect of things. The whole thing, like I've been mocked for it by Portuguese voters that commenters who thought I didn't like the song enough in my initial reaction. So yeah, now last night it was my winner because she totally deserved it. She was the best. And the fact she barely was in the top 10 or 11 or something, why? And barely any points from the audience. Armenia. They gave a very nice performance. Again, it's a fun song. In a contest like this, I think it could have stuck out a bit more. The background, you see it looks like it's pixelated. I don't know why they designed it like this. It's annoying for the eyes. They could have been a bit higher. Greece, right? Yeah, this is Greece. It was no, wait a second. Is this Greece or Cyprus? You see, those countries send the same things over and over and over. It's always a woman with male dancers who take the shirt off at some point. It's boring as hell. It's annoying. Stop it. Send something else. But not Sakis Ruvas again, okay? He's also annoying. As sexy as he is. Bad song. Bad. I mean, the performance wasn't too bad, but it was just not enough. Switzerland is next. Did I skip something? No. Switzerland. Nemo was... Wait a second. Okay, this is a bit better. He was... well, we all know he won, but if I had to rank him by vocals alone, he was barely in the 6th or 7th place. There were several performers better than him. I can list them. It was Portugal, Serbia, Armenia, France, Italy, of course, and who else? I think I'm forgetting someone. So he would have been about 6, 7, based on vocals alone. I mean, the song is amazing still, and the fact he manages to do it live while trotting on stage is very impressive. But I wouldn't call him a winner. I'm not sad that he won. I'm sad about the way it happened, which I'll talk about later. Slovenia, Raven was way better than yesterday than in the semi-final. But the playback, something about the way they changed the backing vocals to sound like they were in water, it was too much. It made it sound muted. It hurt the atmosphere of the song. It was unnecessary. This should have been in the top 5. The fact it's not top 10 is completely not the audience's fault. It's the fault of whoever decided that her backing vocals should be changed to sound like they were coming from inside an aquarium. There was enough water effect in the song to make that clear that it was water related with a Veronica mythic legend and stuff. It was, I mean, she could have been the winner if the playback was better. It was an amazing performance. Croatia, again, the same thing, bad song. It's not hard to sing that. He gave the performance he always gives, apparently, and the audience gave him the most points. No idea why. It shows you how stupid Eurovision is. This is Georgia. Yeah, firefighter. I mentioned it earlier that I'm going to talk about this. She was also better than the semi-final. Not perfect, but good enough to be in the top 10, which she was, right? I think she was. I don't even remember. I only remember the top 5, and even that barely. I barely slept in the last week, so forgive me for being so tired and disoriented. I'm doing this and then going to sleep and forgetting this ever happened. Slimane from France, hitting the camera. This was my on my Mastodon account. Yes, I'm on Mastodon. On No Authority Social, if you're looking for me. The same name as I'm here. This was my way of joking that he is hitting the camera and not getting disqualified like Joost from the Netherlands. Yeah, I know, bad joke. I don't care. Leave me alone. His performance vocally was very good. Like I said, he was one of my top 5 vocal performers of the year. He was in the top 5 eventually, so good for him. It doesn't happen a lot that France is so high in the last 15 years. So yeah, I'm happy for them. They deserved it. This was Austria. He was terrible again. I don't get it. How did she get more points than Norway? Norway was 10 times better than this. I mean, 120 times better than this. So it's just, yeah. I guess it's the dresses, right? Straight people love those stripper dresses. Yeah. This is Marina Sati, right? From Greece. The same thing again. I mean, they do have one female dancer, which is new, but it's an annoying song. It's an annoying performance. I mean, it's an all right performance, but why? Did I say Cyprus? Sorry, Greece. Oh, yeah. So those were the songs. Now we are coming to what happened after the songs ended. This was ABBA performing performing. I can't even call it performing. The hosts called them on video, and they were like in concert in London, but it's not really them. It's the hologram show that they've been doing for the last 2 years, I think, since 2022 or 2021. And it was so pathetic. It doesn't look real. It sounds so inauthentic. And it was just, why would anyone want to do that? And then they had on stage 3 Eurovision queens, they called it, to perform ABBA's songs with ABBA. That's on the left, Charlotte Perrelli. In the middle, you see Carola, both Swedish singers. Carola won in 70 something. Before I was born, I don't care. And Charlotte Perrelli won in 99 in Israel. And on the right, you see Conchita Wurst, who won in 2013 or 14. I think 13 he won, and 14 they hosted the contest in Austria. It was a ridiculous performance. Then the hosts, even before they said a word, I knew what was coming next, because the fingernail. It had to be Loreen, of course, the last year's winner. And she had to outdo them, so she became Teen Woman. And by the way, it's ridiculous that her performance was... I mean, many past winners did it, that when they performed the next year, it's not really them singing, it's just playback, and they're just pretending, lip syncing. I know Netta, the Israeli winner, did it in 2019. Many others did it. I think the last one who didn't do it was the Dutch winner in Duncan Lawrence. He really sang on stage, as far as I remember. But yeah, usually the winner does playback, and that was too. And then we had the voting. And the voting was so ridiculous. I can talk about it for another half an hour, but I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll try to be quick. We started with the system in the last 3 years, I think, has been going like this. The audience all over the world votes by phone, by apps, by whatever. And then after it ends, the hosts first go to the countries to receive the juries' votes, which are professional juries. And I'll touch about that in a second. And they rank the songs, ranking the 10 best songs, 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 12. And then they go to the audience vote, and that is presented all at once, so you don't know the audience from which country voted for which song. And so that's a lot of points at once. And they changed the system. I don't know how, but if you go over the numbers, last night's numbers, it just doesn't add up. Let's start with the juries. The professional juries, besides mostly giving 12 points to Switzerland, which wasn't the best vocal performance of the year, gave almost 0 points to Serbia, which was the second best performance of the evening. And they put Portugal in sixth place she was when the judges' votes were over. I mean, that is ridiculous. She was so much better than anyone else, maybe except Italy, okay? Italy and Serbia. And the fact that the professional juries, who are supposed to be musicians, who rank music, gave Finland and Estonia more points than Israel or Norway, was absolutely shameful. How can any musical judge give less points to Norway than to Estonia? As much as I liked the song and thought it was fun, it's not a song, it's an act. It's an act. You don't vote for it. If you're a judge. If you're an audience, that's something else. And funnily enough, the audience gave it relatively less points than the judges. So that shows you how fake the judges' votes were. And my theory is this. In the last few days, if you looked at the bets, you could see Israel has risen to second spot. And some people in the EBU were very, very scared what happens if Israel wins, because there were security concerns around the whole participation. And I think they passed on an order or a request to do anything possible to prevent Israel from winning. And the first proof for that is how they disqualified Joost from Holland. It's been said Joost threatened a camerawoman. Now, do I condone such behavior if it happened? No. Is saying to a camerawoman, if she doesn't move, you'll do something, enough to disqualify you from a contest you've been working almost a year to participate in? Absolutely not. I mean, I did say in my review of the song that it should have been disqualified, but on another ground. Disqualifying him for allegedly saying something threatening to a camerawoman sounds like a very suspicious. And just a few hours before the final, and it's never been done. There were probably people who did worse things in Eurovision history and they weren't disqualified. So there has to be something else in play here. My theory is this. Joost Klein was the favorite most of the time before the week of the contest. And in the last week, he fell to the 6th place. And I think the fall of Joost Klein with the rise of Eden Golan from Israel made someone in the EBU think maybe if they disqualify him, the votes that would have been spent on him would go to Croatia and Switzerland, which were the next top two in the favorites list in the bets. And that would prevent Israel from winning. So make sure no one, the votes are concentrated enough to make sure someone else wins and not Israel. And that's what happened. Croatia wouldn't get any points from a professional judge in a regular year. I mean, maybe 2, 3, okay? But getting 12 points and 10 points and 8 points for what? This is noise. Yeah, so it was definitely not a fair vote. And it was so obviously tilted. Like the whole thing was a sham. Yeah, so the judges were under a mission to give as much points as possible to Switzerland and Croatia to make sure. Oh, I forgot to say, not only did Israel rise to the top 2 favorites to win in the last week, Italy, the Italian broadcaster Rai, has inadvertently revealed their televote voting percentages in the semi-final, which is forbidden because it affects the bets. And Israel got about 40% of the votes, which is like almost half of the votes for one song when you only have top 10 It's crazy. So someone was, okay, there is a very, very big gap here that we need to close. So they changed the whole system. The votes from the audience were counted in a completely different way than usually. And I'll get to how I know that in a second. What was I saying? I don't remember. Yeah, I'm so tired that I'm getting confused now. I was about to talk about the jury votes and the televote. So the televote, you could see most countries didn't even get 100 points. There were barely anyone. I think like 6 or 7 countries got over 100 points. It doesn't add up because every previous year they did this system, there were never such big differences between the low countries and the higher ranking countries. Like you had 2 countries with 100 something points, I think 1 with 200 something, or 2 with 200 something, 3 with 300 something, and then the rest of them were all under 100. It doesn't make sense. No one liked any of the other songs. Just the ones that were in the lead. It's ridiculous. Am I supposed to believe that was an honest counting? So am I sad Nemo won? No. Am I annoyed about the way it happened? Yes. Am I annoyed that Baby Lasagna got more points than my country? Yes, absolutely. But most of all, I'm sorry for Portugal and Serbia, who both deserved this win more. And not even this year, I'm sorry for John Steers, also from Switzerland. He represented Switzerland in 2020, which was cancelled, and 21. The first song was called Réponds-moi. I didn't like the song, but I loved his voice. And then in 2021, he had, luckily, came with Tout l'univers. That song was probably one of the 3 best songs in Eurovision since the year 2000, if not ever. It was a perfect performance vocally. I mean, visually it was very odd. He was standing on a cement foundation of a building with no building. It was something odd. But the vocals, if Switzerland deserved to win, it was then. That was a winning performance. And he did get the highest amount of points from the judges. But then the audience gave the win to, who was it in 2021? Italy. Yeah, Italy. This is so annoying. Something always screws up the good songs and the good performances. Why does it have to be about politics? Just vote for the best song. I mean, and this was also something I wanted to address. He never even waved a Swiss flag during the whole thing. You see, the Swiss flag is on his back, and the trans pride flag on the front. This is not how Eurovision is supposed to be. Eurovision is about representing your country. And this is, I touched earlier about the mistake of thinking the gays have taken over Eurovision. No, it's not the gays. It's the whatever extreme sexual thing is going on at any given point in time. 30 years ago, it was the gays. 20 years ago, it was the trans with Dana International. And now it's the whatever he is, non-binary or whatever. And this is probably why the horrible singer from Ireland got to be sixth, because she is non-binary as well. I mean, it's ridiculous. Stop voting for the personality. You're supposed to vote for the song. Listen to the song and vote for it. I don't care who the singer is or where he was born or what he's wearing, or she. Just please make it go back to a music competition. Please. You're ruining it. You're ruining the fun for everyone. I'm so tired. Sorry. Yeah, it's 41 minutes. It's better that I end it right now before I go into another rumble. Will I be there in next year's Eurovision? No, because I didn't even go when it was here in Tel Aviv. So all the way to Basel or Bern or Zurich or what's the Italian city? Not Interlaken. Interlaken is also Switzerland. It can also be there. It can be Genève, and it can be Lugano. Yeah. So whatever it is, I'm not. Not only am I not planning on being there, I'm not even planning on watching it next year. I will watch the songs before the contest. I'm not sure I have the energy to watch another totally political, ridiculous, like agenda toting event. This event is supposed to unite people around music, not to teach them about the new sexual thing. Whatever it is. Yeah. Call me whenever it goes back to be a music competition. Okay? This was it for this year, Eurovision 2024. Signing out. I don't know where I'm taking this channel next, because my original plan was a podcast, but after all the replies I got for the I didn't say thank you. Thank you for everyone who watched me for the last 2.5 months. When I started this, I thought I'd probably get like 13 views per video and hoped for 1,000 views per video. Most of the videos surpassed that by far. I've got a couple with like 12,000 and a few with like 5, 6, 7,000. Yeah, but it's been an amazing experience, and the likes and the dislikes. Thank you to people who bothered to dislike and comment and explain why they're disliking, because it's important to know your opinions as well. The whole thing about YouTube is, even if you don't make a video, you can say your opinion in replies to someone else's video. That's what I was doing for the last 20 years. Yeah, so next and people actually subscribe. Like, I didn't even ask you to subscribe or like or comment even once, and you still did it. Good for you. Your YouTube audience, as I learned these past 2 months, is an amazing group of 3 billion people. I thank you a lot. And I hope whatever I do next, I get to enjoy the experience I've had with you. Even the ones calling me potato head. Yes, I know I have mirrors in my house. Thank you very much for pointing it out. In fact, I'm blind. Yeah, so I'll see you around. Goodbye.